I'm going to talk to Aaron Fox because Lakers were mentioned in Shams Charania report, and it was mentioned in his kind of the news that he was breaking down yesterday of what was going on with De'Aaron Fox. Let me first kind of read the story, and then we'll tie this back to the Lakers here. So we all knew what happened earlier in the year. Earlier in the year, there were some reports out there. Rich Paul is basically saying, hey, it's a critical time for the Kings. There's no guarantee that De'Aaron Fox is going to commit unless this organization gets his, ish together. So then news came out yesterday, which was kind of surprising to me. And I say that because they changed their coach. Doug Christie is now there. If maybe there was an issue with Mike Brown, they obviously addressed that. They've won, they've gone on a good streak. I think they've won 11 of their last 15, but they lost a couple games in a row. We'll see how long this will last for. News comes out yesterday that the Sacramento Kings are expected to open talks for a potential De'Aaron Fox trade ahead of the February 6th trade deadline. Goes on to say there'll be plenty of suitors for Fox, who made an All-NBA team 2023, but is believed that the San Antonio Spurs are atop his list of preferred landing spots, league sources told ESPN. Fox and his representation, Clutch Sports Rich Paul, have a target destination in mind ahead of free agency. So obviously they're going to do everything they can to try to get De'Aaron Fox specifically with the San Antonio Spurs. Now, to be honest with you, if I'm the Sacramento Kings, it's all good that you want to go to the San Antonio Spurs. We're going to go ahead and trade you wherever the hell we want to trade you. Now, I know Fox has some power in that. He has some say in that. I completely understand that. But they don't have to trade him at this trade deadline. They could also wait till the offseason. So it's not like the Sacramento Kings don't have any leverage. They got some leverage. I do think if you know that your star player is not going to be there and does not want to be there and does not want to sign, obviously a extension or anything along those lines, then okay, you know what? Be smart about it. And if you're going to be smart about it, this is one way to do it. Let's see what the market looks like. Let's see what the market wants for De'Aaron Fox. All right, that's all good. We're going to let that happen. We'll kind of see how that all plays out. However, part of this article and part of the sound bites you got from Shams, here's one of the sound bites. One thing I can say with Rich Paul, we know he's got LeBron James and Anthony Davis on the Lakers. I'm told the Lakers are not part of that destination of choice for De'Aaron Fox, potentially. ESPN Shams Charania reported on NBA today. So funny when I saw that. Like the first thing that I thought to my mind, I'm like, well, how the hell did the Lakers get tied into this? How the hell did Lakers get tied into? Okay, Fox wants out of Sacramento. His preferred destination is Sacramento. He's not going to sign his extension. And oh, by the way, he doesn't want to go to the Lakers. It's like, well, what the hell? Where did that come from? Where did that bullet just come from? Why am I getting a shot here out of nowhere? Let's talk about it here for a quick second. By the way, I know there's a lot of Laker fans that are on this channel, and I'm sure there's a lot of them say, oh, that's BS. You know what? De'Aaron Fox sucks anyways. We didn't even want him. Fox is a baller. Some people might not like his play, his style, everything else. I'm a fan of De'Aaron Fox, and if the Lakers had a way of getting De'Aaron Fox, I'd be all in at trying to figure out what that is. So I'm asking myself, all right, why doesn't he want to be a Laker? You ever been in a relationship and the other person's like, you know what? Yeah, I'm going to go ahead and just not want to be with you. It's like, well, what the hell happened? What did I do wrong? You start getting insecure about yourself. That's kind of how I feel with that quote. The moment that quote came out from Shams, one thing I can say with Rich Paul, we know he's got LeBron and Anthony Davis. I'm told Lakers are not part of the destination of choice for De'Aaron Fox potentially. Okay, well, what exactly would be the reason why De'Aaron Fox doesn't want to be a Laker? And I think it's okay to have these conversations and kind of be honest about your franchise, about your organization. What are the things that would deter him from wanting to potentially be a Los Angeles Laker? All right, so I was thinking about it. I'm saying to myself, okay, well, let me think of some of the different scenarios that are out there, and let me kind of play these out. All right, does he not want to be a Laker because maybe he doesn't care about Hollywood? Maybe he doesn't want those big lights, that spotlight, and all the attention that this organization gets all the time. Maybe he's not a fan of where the Laker franchise is right now. You got LeBron, who's 40 years old, and certainly trying to hold on for as long as he possibly can with everything that he's doing and trying as best as he can to compete for another championship with Anthony Davis. I got no idea what his reasons are, but I did think that portion was interesting. It was like out of nowhere, Lakers kind of take a stray on that De'Aaron Fox conversation. So that was a little bit of a curveball. That wasn't something that I was expecting. And I know we got a lot of comments here, but I get the natural tie. Shams wanted to make sure, and I'm sure this is part of what Rich Paul, the conversation with De'Aaron Fox. Hey, I want to make sure that I'm not tied to the Lakers because I know it is Rich Paul and LeBron and Anthony Davis. So at least he's kind of letting that be known. Now that we're getting closer to the trade deadline, that the Kings are basically saying, hey, we're open for business. And you surprised at all that the conversation also from Shams basically had a mention there that LA is not a destination that he has in mind?
On the second part, I wasn't surprised because I kind of checked in on De'Aaron Fox's situation after Mike Brown was fired, and I was told the same thing at that point. That at that point, it was De'Aaron is content in Sacramento and wants to turn this thing around, and if he was to want to go somewhere, it wouldn't be LA. I just feel like reading between the lines, no one has told me this explicitly, but the biggest factor here is there is a strong desire for De'Aaron to pair up with Victor Wembanyama, and he sees where he is at as in his career, and he sees where Victor is at, and he's like, that could be the next 6-7 years of my career with a ton of success, a ton of financial security. He's a Texas kid. Growing up, like, it checks all the boxes, and any other scenario you would present doesn't live up to that in his mind. So that's a reason why he wouldn't consider the Lakers. And this is my kind of editorial. I don't, as I was getting earlier, my earlier point about Kelly Olynyk, like, not gonna be afraid of the big lights, whatever. Like, I don't think he would want the stressful existence as the Lakers. I just don't. And that's, you got to know who you are, right? Like, late in Steve Nash's career, I covered him when he came to the Lakers, and he said he pushed for it or kind of signed off on the deal because he wanted to feel the fire again. At that point, the Suns weren't really contending. He's like, but he knew there was like a limited kind of window there left of his career, and he's like, okay, mentally I'm gonna put myself there. De'Aaron has lived in a pretty easy superstar existence in Sacramento. Like, you're playing 10 national televised games a year, you're getting all the money and all the stats and all the local endorsement deals, and you weren't really, when you score back-to-back 50-point games, it's a nice pat on the shoulder, but no one is expecting you night to night to lead the team, and you are the subject of YouTube shows and and
Sure.
the like.
Yeah.
It's just he's not lived that existence, and I don't think he wants to live that existence, and that's fine. Like, not every player has to be a Laker, and that's part of like kind of the process. And this is, I think, one strength that Rob Pelinka certainly has, being the guy in front of the Lakers front office, is he does know kind of what that is, having represented Kobe for so long. I think he can kind of use that when he evaluates talent from a personality profile standpoint.
Okay, I got two final ones for you, and then I know you got a road trip ahead of you. So, all right, number one, what's been your take so far on Dorian Finney-Smith?
I think it was a really good trade, first of all, to get it done 39 days before the trade deadline, to then allow him to have more time to get acclimated to everything. He's an active defender. His attitude is kind of a breath of fresh air. He doesn't bring any kind of like diva or superstar mentality, which, quite frankly, makes him very popular amongst everyone in that locker room. I don't like seeing him go 1 for 6 against Philadelphia on pretty much all wide open threes from either corner. I mean, like, you're going to be a 3-and-D guy. You got to bring the 3 part of it. But I will extend him some grace, living in a hotel after the trade, living in a hotel full of displaced people from the wildfire evacuations. Like, that's got to be a mental toll. Becoming a new father. I mean, that's a lot of stuff to pack into a short amount of time. But he's shown some flashes. Had a highly efficient game at home before they went on this road trip. Big dunk in Charlotte to help close that game out. I think he's a wonderful addition. And I think he brings not just like, a non-diva attitude, but there's a little toughness to his game. And I was talking to Dan Wiki about this recently, and from the LA Times, and I covered LeBron when he played with J.R. Smith in Cleveland, and I think LeBron likes, you get a tougher, grittier version of LeBron when he's around grittier guys, and I think Dorian can bring a little bit of that out of LeBron. So I expect, and I think he's a good enough player to be a little bit more consistent. He'll get there. I think he'll be able to get there this season. So, yeah, I think he's going to be. That's going to be a trade that Lakers fans will look back at for. I imagine he'll get an extension with LA this offseason too. They'll look back at that fondly for a while.
All right, if you enjoyed this clip and you want more, just subscribe to the channel. Monday through Friday, 8 a.m. to 9 a.m. is the Sliwa Show. And then after every Lakers game, post-game show right here.